Telephone.
Douglas 5909.
Yep.
Send all official business to the Home Office in care of Nourished Ali, the Prophet. 442 West Elm Street, Chicago, Illinois, January 23rd, 1931. Brother E. Turner L., Newark, New Jersey. Islam, dear bro, in referring to your letter that you wrote to Sister M. Dove L. of 227 West Elm Street, was recorded and turned over to me. In answering, I would like to know your standing in this organization and are you a grand chief? If you are, I would like to know who made you and have you any papers to the effect. It is now time for each and everyone to prove their standing. Why, yes, the Moorish Temple America has anything you want and would like well to supply you all if they are on the principle of our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Of course, we have charters for all, but there has to be someone from the Home Office to come and set aside the temples that one sent. And two, there must be 15 or more members to be made sheikhs first before you can talk about a charter. All of the good Moors sends Islam to y'all and hope to hear from you at once. You may write to me at all times as I am lawfully elected Supreme Grand Advisor by the officials of the Moorish Temple of America and have their consent of all the Islamic world, and all we want is strict business and honest to all, because we are on the five principles. Would you please tell me who is the grand chief there and is his name? Please. We have we have visiting us now some 20 or more Moors from Fez, Morocco, in here to Islam going right. And you all be careful what you do with Islam. The Prince of Morocco is stopping with me, has been for 3 weeks, and to soon peace to all your entire temple. See Kirkman dead.
Taken over. He's saying he's taken over. He says, I'm taking over. I'm giving charters. I'm making sheets. I'm taking over. What else you see here? What else you hear?
It's called Prince of Morocco was winning.
Supreme Grand Advisor Moderate. What else?
So is he the one that has the Moors from Fez, Morocco come here? Or they were just here to oversee?
This was, let me ask this question. Is this his questions?
No, it's about what else I heard.
Okay. All right. I'm glad you pointed that out. At the time he wrote this about Fez, Morocco, there was a group of Moors who came to Detroit, Michigan, first. And they say it was from the Prince of Morocco, but they were from the Rift Valley people. There was a civil war in Morocco. And they wanted to recruit Moorish Americans into His Majesty's army. So they came to Detroit first. The Grand Sheikh, F. Nelson Bey, invited Kirkman Bey to come down there. Because remember, he's telling Turner Hill, we have what you want. What they wanted then was vital to the survival of each group, which was what? Yes. F. Nelson Bey was starving with his family. Brilliant brother. But he had nowhere else to go. Nothing, he was left with nothing but to hook up with Kirkman Bey and get the all-10 compound. So, when they told Turner Hill about it, Turner Hill told the Grand Sheikh of Temple 10 then was Gravit Hill. Gravit Hill sends a copy of the letter to Millio, it's in our archives, of how they started to recruit Moors and gave Kirkman Bey the title of Colonel, and then gave different Moors titles at Temple Number 4, the same titles that FOI have in the Nation of Islam. Captain, Lieutenant, the same lineup, and I'll bring that out soon. Same title. And they started drilling. Everybody know what drilling is? So Millie Hill gets notice of the drilling and the recruitment and how they mark teaching these young boys to mark. Same thing FOI doing now, drilling. Same thing. Millie Hill don't like it. And he writes a letter together. Then he says, I don't like that drilling. Having these Moors march back and forth. So when you talk about Moors coming from Fez, Morocco, that happened, that started out in Detroit. And if you remember, Elijah Muhammad's first temple was where? Detroit. Any more questions? You had something more?
No question. Did it say, was he saying that it took 15 sheets to get a charter?
Yep, and you want to make it right away. You got this divine medicines floating around? Papers. Do not take a picture of it. Do not scan it. Right here. Okay. This talks about Julius Rosenwald. Everybody know about Julius Rosenwald. We moved around. They call him the race man. I'm not a race man, but philanthropist. Can you come back?
Julius Rosenwald returns home after a long vacation. Returning from Paris, where he went for a long rest in order to regain his health, Julius Rosenwald, famous, how do you say that? That's a big word.
Philanthropy.
And Stan's friend of the race arrived in Chicago Monday after 5 months in France and Italy. Mr. Rosenwald's health is now greatly improved. Mr. Rosenwald was accompanied by his sister, Miss Max, an elder who came with him from New York and who asserted that the philanthropy had been given a 100% bill of health from the New York Rockefeller Institute. Mr. Rosenwald was in very poor health when he left Chicago in April. The philanthropist who is head of the Shears, Roebuck and Company has become notable and well respected among members of our race, especially in the South, because of his many and large financial gifts for educational and community projects. Rosenwald schools are found in large numbers in all parts of the South, and the philanthropist also gives partly to YMCA and other charitable organizations throughout the country. Of his most recent gifts in this later instance was the one to the Detroit YMCA, a sum of $25,000. Numbered among his many race friends in Chicago is editor Robert S. Abbott of the Chicago Defender, who expressed his sincerest pleasure in the report of Mr. Roosevelt's recuperation.
Very good. You hear the meeting here?
Yeah, I heard.
Rosenwald controlled stuff. He was the president of what?
Sears, Roebuck and Company.
And what do you know how he was such a philanthropist in the South? What did he do?
Donated a lot of his land and his money to fund HBCUs.
And what did he get in return?
Control their education. A seat on the board.
See, what else did he get in return?
Control of the curriculum taught.
Yes. What else?
Saw Green Bay.
Yes. What else? He was on all the boards. All of them down there where Governor Gates Bay went to. What was vital? What material was so vital for Rosenwald, who was the president of Sears? Well, what material was so vital for him? Cotton. That's what he got in return. He got the raise. He was the modern day boss. all that land, he raised an enormous amount of cotton, processed it, and when they went in his schools, he worked them almost for free. To pick his cotton, raise his cotton, gin his cotton, make material out of it, make it to textiles, and put it in all Sears stores. This man had money and power. He had enough money to front Mr. Fields to build in the Museum of Natural History and Science and Industry and the museum in Ohio. Enough money, because he had already been going around the world, not just Paris, and collecting artifacts. He had nowhere to put them. So after the Columbian Exposition of 1892 in Chicago, the building was deteriorating. The ones you see on Lakeshore Drive, with the big long columns, he put money in there to rebuild that building, and all the artifacts he had collected, he put them in the museum. So people can come and see him. Julius Rosenwald, whose employee, number one employee was who? Claude Green. Claude Green Bay. He loved Claude Green Bay. He absolutely loved him. And when his throat was cut and he was shot in the heart, the first person that Julius Rosenwald says Hitchman after was who? The Prophet Noble Jolly, who wasn't even in Chicago then. He sent him then. He was crushed. What else did you see in that letter?
He was eating. He had been tried.
Yes. Yes. He was there. Have you ever seen a picture of Julius Rosenwald? Okay, I'm going to describe it to you. He was a little man with little hands and feet. He was a short little man. He was Jewish. His grandson was murdered, was kidnapped and murdered. They called it the trial of the century in Chicago. It was done by Leopold and Leopold and Lowe. These were two rich Jewish men who killed Bobby. His name was Bobby. They wanted to know if they could get away with a perfect crime. Right, Diane?
Right.
They wanted to know, can we get away with this perfect crime? They murdered that, kidnapped that boy, and murdered him. And that was like the O.J. Simpson trial then. In fact, the O.J. Simpson trial is compared to that trial. With that boy was Julius Rosenwald's grandson. Let's change. Anybody ever seen this? This is about the prophet's death. It's physical death. And I brought this out. This is a copy. Because there's something in here that you need to know. I mean, something, everything you need to know.